like an old dude.
What's that?
You ride it.
Am I building it so I can ride it like a what?
Dude.
Like a dude? Like an old dude, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just building it so I can ride it like an old dude. Hello. Alright. Tonight. We're going to revisit the oil tank. Alright, I'm making a new one. Not because the old one, the fire extinguisher, would have come up shit, or really shit, but it's just, there's a few issues with it. None that I really foreseen, and I'm just chasing my tail with it heaps, and I'll explain that. I actually haven't got it here. I was about to start tidying it up, and anyway, this is one of the things again where I got an absolute pigsty on my workbench, and I started cleaning up, and yeah, got sidetracked. Right. Well, the fire extinguisher. This here, if you've seen the video on it, you'll know that we cut into it. We put a battery box and all that into it. It was all fine, you know, it was pretty rough. I done it with the MIG, and I just done a real quick job of it, and then obviously with the intention of cleaning it all up. So anyway, just before I clean it up, I think to myself, well, you know, it's time to pressure test it. Got some leaks in some really weird places, and I think I know why that's happened, but I was not expecting it. So the welds I did on it and everything like that, I might have had, like, I done a real low pressure test on it to start with from memory, and I think there may have been a pinhole here and there, nothing too drastic. Went and ticked it up, and then what I did was I really sealed it up. I had where the bungs were welded in, I put a hose fitting on one. I blocked everything else up, and I filled it up with water and just the pressure of the tap, and something pretty unexpected happened. It leaked. If you remember, I left this piece on here, and it actually started leaking around here. So I went, oh, okay then, that's weird, but I don't know why you'd think a fire extinguisher would be pretty sealed up. So I put it down to that it's got some sort of sealant in here where this top bit sits into the bottom bit, and when I've heated it up by welding it and all the rest of it, it's cracked some of that stuff, melted some of that sealant out of it. So all good. I go, okay, that can be fixed. I TIG it all up and go, yep, cool. Before I start grinding it down and all this sort of thing, I'll pressure test it again. Obviously no leaks from here, but it started leaking up in here. I don't know why. It was almost like the paint had cracked off, and yeah, it had some weird leaks around here, and in the back of this it was pissing out. So what I thought was, I'll go get some of that tank sealant, that KBS tank sealant. They use it in fuel tanks. Rang KBS, made sure it was going to be all right with oil, with the heat, all that sort of thing. They said it was, but I've got a little bit of a doubt in my mind. So I was at the stage of continuing to clean it right up, and so I was at the stage of continuing to clean it right up. Then after I'd cleaned it fully up, I was just going to put that KBS tank sealant in there and put it on the bike, you know, do all that sort of stuff and go for it. I started having second thoughts. I was kind of like, I have heard in some situations, if that KBS sealant stuff, or any tank sealant, let's just call it tank sealant, if that tank sealant stuff, you know, it's used for rusted tanks and everything, if that's not put on correctly, it flakes off like paint on the inside. Now, as I say, I use, if it's not put on correctly, all good. But the thing is, with a fuel tank, if you use it and it's flaking off, the worst thing that can really happen is your fuel filter gets clogged up, or you get shit in your carby, whatever, and the bike runs like shit and stops. If it happens in the oil tank and that stuff flakes off, then, you know, it blocks up your oil. Well, that's it, fuck your engine. So I was in two minds. I'd already bought the stuff. Will I risk it? Will I not? And then I thought, everyone wasn't overly confident about using it on an oil tank. So, I mean, even though I was told you could use it, I just got this little bit of doubt in the back of my mind with oil, and I'm not going to know if it's flaking off. You know, it's an oil tank you can't really, it's not like a fuel tank how you can just sort of peer on the top of it. Oil tanks are a bit of a pain in the ass to look at. You know, anyway, blocks up, fucks your engine, yada yada. Then I thought to myself, okay, what happens if it does work all right, but I still get some leaks, you know, because I'm getting to the stage where I want to start the bike. I'm doing the final assembly. Well, not final assembly, I keep saying that, but, you know, second last assembly of it all raw and making sure everything fits. And I get to that stage, and then it seems all right, or it starts fucking leaking somewhere else. And you know, once everything's painted, I'm not going to be able to weld new tabs on and shit like that without fucking up the paint that's on it. So look, the long and the short of it is, you could use a fire extinguisher. I got it to that stage where you could, but after all that work, I pretty much just got sick of chasing my tail. So I've come up with a bit of a new design, something that I think that'll help keep the oil a bit cooler. I've just started on it, so I just thought, shit, I better grab the camera and show you a little bit of it. And hopefully, I know I'm not going to get leaks. I know I don't have to worry about shit inside it. You know, it's just, it sucks with the fire extinguisher because it wasn't, you know, it's not your work that's going to let you down on it. It's the fire extinguisher itself. It's where it is. Now, you could cut that shit off. You could cut this off. You could put a different cap on it. I mean, look, by the time you do all that, as I think I said at the end of the video, if I was going to do it again, I'd just use a nice solid bit of pipe that, you know, it's not thin material. You don't have to muck around with it. You don't have to clean it up. Just go get a fresh bit of pipe, bang, do it. I was just doing it with a fire extinguisher just because, you know, I thought it would be cool. Anyway, look, that's enough rambling on about it. I no doubt some fire extinguishers probably will work fine. But look, this video is just sort of to clarify that and why that fire extinguisher is not going to be used. Will I finish it off and do it sort of in the background or something? I probably will. I'm probably still going to clean it up and put the coating in it and do all that stuff, and then just sit it up, and one day I'll probably use it and I'll never ever have a problem with it. But you know, you shouldn't really have to. Okay, that's enough of that. So the new oil tank is completely and utterly different. I haven't seen one like it, probably for good reason. Look, I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. It is weird, and that's what I like. That's what it's got to be. It's got to be weird. All right. So this is the start of it. Right. This here, I've cut 2 pieces of pipe. I've got a piece of whatever you'd call that. It's not I-beam, it's a piece of T section in aluminium. This is all aluminium. I've hole sawed out of some flat aluminium the bottoms. Okay, I've just tacked them in for now. This isn't tacked in, this has just been held by a clamp. And then what I'm going to do on the front of it, at the moment this is what it looks like. This might change, but it's a bit of an easy option for me at the moment. I'm really trying to just get this bike going because I'm just not getting nothing done. So this here, this bit of C section, this is going to sit something like this. Okay, so if you imagine it when it's done, it's actually going to be upright cylinders. We're going to have, excuse all coming apart. We're going to have our outlet down here. We're going to have our breather and return line probably up here. So that's going to dump it into this cylinder. It's separate, right? But they are going to be joined at the bottom. But it's going to dump it into this. And this cylinder's hopefully going to have, oil that's cooled down, that's sort of circulating. It just gives it that much time. And it'll flow into the engine that way. So I'm going to make a balance pipe between the 2 of them at the bottom, and hopefully then it fills up and it'll level out. Look, not that big a deal letting things get cooler. That's just sort of in my head a little bit. I know you don't have to worry about that, but it's just a twin cylinder type of design, which is a bit different. Now, what I'm going to show you is, this is probably not making sense. So that goes like that. Let's pretend it's all standing up now. Then it's going to mount. So we've got our 2 cylinders on the back of this. It's going to mount in here like that. Okay, and we'll have our 2 cylinders down the back of this. I think you can see that. Okay, and they'll sort of go here. And look, we're going back. We're going to put our battery tray down the bottom. Bit boring putting it there, but the cylinders, or the oil tank, I've got to call it, the oil tank will kind of hide the battery just a little bit, looking down directly at it. That's what I'm sort of thinking, but it's a bit boring putting the battery where everyone else puts the battery. That's why I wanted it in the other thing. Now, I could have went back the other way and got a clean bit of pipe and done what I was going to do the exact same thing as I did with the fire extinguisher, but I just can't be stuffed. I don't want to make the same thing twice. I want to do something now completely different, and yeah, that's it. So look, at the moment I'm waiting on some of these welding style bungs. I've only got like massive ones, and I've only got one of the, whatever size it is, what is it, quarter thread, which I used in the fire extinguisher oil tank. Quarter thread, that seems to be a good size. So I'm thinking one there and 2 up here. Then I've got to design, I don't have to design, then I've got to, if we imagine we flip this over, it's a bit hard, but if we imagine it's flipped over and this is the back side of it, so this is going to be facing towards the fender, the rear guard, I'm going to have to do something like, put a weld on barb or something and a loop. I've tried bending some aluminium, but it just kinks on me. That's just the way it goes if you haven't got the right stuff to bend them with. Bending tube, you know, you try and get it around too far, it just kinks, and it's got to be pretty sharp. The other way, I've just been having a little bit of a play with it, and I'm thinking I might even do something like this, come up on a bit of an angle and join the two of them up. So anyway, I don't know yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just like tack the main piece together. That'll give you a good idea of where this is going, and then all I've really got to do is drill my holes out and put the barbs in and connect my lines. This here where it slips over that frame, I think what I'm going to do is drill some holes in here and put some nutserts in the actual frame. I forgot what you fucking call it, not the backbone, just the frame. I'm going to put some in that, and that's going to be pretty simple. So just drill through that, and it's going to be nice and easy to remove and mount and whatever the fuck you want to do with it. All right, so look, let's get started. All right, so day 2, night 2. So I've pretty much tacked everything up. The tops, bottom, welded the sides, welded the back. Now, look, I've done something a little bit different now. I'm going to do something a little bit different with mounting it. Instead of this hugging the bar, I'm going to use just one side to the frame, the bar that runs down, and use that for mounting. And that way it will keep everything out the way of the chain. I'm not going to have to notch this, do all that extra work and go down that path. Now it's pretty much at the stage where obviously I can fully weld everything up, and I'm going to start putting my barbs in, hose barbs for the oil, inlets, outlets, breather lines, and these ones here, these are going to go in, not this low, but they're going to go in the bottom like this. And that's what I'm going to use to be able to get the oil. It's going to come into this cylinder and then flow through into this one and then go out the bottom of it. Now, I'm hoping that these are going to give me enough flow, and that's the thing. I've just in the back of my mind. I haven't got enough bungs to put a couple more in it. Maybe I should do it that way. I'm just running low on barbs and bungs and everything. So I'm thinking a lot of the time, like with the old oil tank, it comes out of a barb that big. I mean, that's only though when it's all going in one cylinder. This using it to balance the oil between. I'm a bit worried it'll go out faster than it'll push through here, but at the same time too, I'm thinking the heat and everything like that of the oil, and I mean it's going to have the pressure. I mean, this is going to be fully sealed obviously, so it's going to have the pressure pushing it through and then up into this cylinder to hopefully self-level. Theory behind that is it will cool, you know, it'll just give it a little bit of cooling before then getting sucked out the other side. Might make a bit more sense the further I get into it. Yeah, so look, it's probably just easier. Again, one of them things, I'm just gonna do what's in my head, and I'll show you. Alright, so I've got pretty much everything welded on now. We've got our filler cap, we've got our breather and our return line. Yeah, breather, return line. We've got our balance pipe, so it's going to come into this cylinder. Hopefully this is going to be enough, but I'm thinking with the return line and the pressure will push it through pretty easy. And then we've got our feed line. Hopefully going to be able to maybe put the ignition in this bit. If not, we'll be able to cover up some wiring with it. And it's actually going to bolt onto it this way. So we're going to put 3 holes through here. Then we're going to put a nutsert into the frame, 3 nutserts in the frame. And we're going to go through that. That's going to mount it. Anyway, we'll do it and have a look at it and see how we go with it. Hopefully it's going to be all right. All right, now we've got our holes in the oil tank ready to mount. What's this thing doing? What are you doing? Dog likes getting in the way. And now what we're going to do is get this oil tank in there, mark our holes, drill our holes, nutserts. And I've actually got some steel nutserts, so I finally ended up getting some. When I say steel nutserts, if you remember, when I done the King Queen seat, I only had aluminium ones, so no doubt they'll be fine, but you know, I'd rather have steel ones in there. All right, especially with something like this that's going to get a few vibrations through it. Cool. Cool,
You need
brother.
this too. Look.
Hey?
Look. Right, you putting that on your head, dude. Go for work like this.
Hold on.
Hello, Dad. This is my new shoe. You doing that, Dad?
No, I don't do that.
What? You fold in it.
Hey?
You put that there. It can watch you
Yeah.
and me.
Yeah, you're there. So what do you say? What do people on YouTube say?
Hello.
What do they say?
Look. So, Dad, you need this to do whatever. They drew in something in it. Whoa, Dad. Look.
What?
You built it there.
No.
Why are they falling there?
Probably because I've been drilling there.
Ooh, the tiny round things. You don't put that in.
Yeah, so that's got to go in.
Okay.
Like that.
You show me how to build that next time I get older, Dad.
When you get a bit older?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to build them.
I reckon you'd be alright. I reckon you'd go alright.
Dad, you asked me to get all the stuff out?
Yeah. You getting it? Okay. You're right.
That's doing a lot of work, Dad.
You are.
You can wipe like an old dude.
What's that?
You ride it.
Am I building it so I can ride it like a what?
Dude.
Like a dude? Like an old dude, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just building it so I can ride it like an old dude. So I've nut-surted them.
And this is that.
Okay, so I don't know if they're any good for that, but I'm going to give them a go anyway. It's just sort of a quick and easy way instead of, I don't know, drilling the hole and tapping it. I don't know if it's that much easier, to be honest with you. All right then.
Now put it on there.
Put it on there, you reckon? Nah, it's all right. I'll better stick to this. It's all bolted in. That is solid as a rock. It's not going anywhere. I've got all in here to cover up some wiring. Worst case scenario, I was going to put the ignition in this, but I don't think I'm going to have the depth. But anyway, we've got our breather and our return line, something like that. That's if you're looking sort of down the side of the bike, that's how it'll look. Something a bit different. We've got our balance pipes, so these cylinders are completely separate, so this is the way the oil will get to the other. I'm not 100% sold on that. I don't know, but look, I can change it later on. Hopefully it's got the pressure behind it to push it through quick enough. That's my only concern with the whole thing, and having two separate cylinders, but it should keep it nice and cool. And access to the filling her up with oil and everything like that, that'll be under the seat. And this will be it. Obviously it's got a barb out of here that'll go to feed the engine, and that's what it's going to look like from a side view. So I'm pretty happy with that actually. It's heaps different, and you know, different to everyone else's, and I like it. It actually looks really clean, even though I've offset it. It's still fine. I haven't had to worry about clearance with a chain, so I'm not going to hook all the lines up and buoy with all that stuff and flush the tank out. All of that, I'll get that done, and once it's all sort of connected, because it's only just putting the oil lines on now and flushing it out, once all that's done, it's pretty much right to start. Look, no doubt I'll go over it in one of the next videos, especially probably when it gets to the stage where first start. So we're going to start it up, we're going to ride it before we tear it all back down for paint and everything like that. So look, that's it. Please, no, I'm not going to say. That's it. Like and no, not doing it.